Carl, for that kind introduction. And I can tell you the people up in New England today are just counting the days till pitchers and catchers report in Florida for before opening day for the Red Sox. And we're watching the Celtics too, but we have to move on into the springtime. Thank you for that introduction, and I want to thank the American Recreation Coalition for inviting me to speak today, and in particular, thanks to Derek, not only for your dedication, but also your enthusiasm for not only this project, but all of the great outdoors initiatives that you've been a part of over the years. 20 years having a conference is quite an accomplishment, and I think that you've been part of it for that whole time, so congratulations to you. I'm excited to be here to talk about what the Corps of Engineers contribution, what our contribution is to the safe, accessible, and what I like to call the fun water-based recreation in this country. Raising the profile of all that we do and all that we can do is so important. Being an active participant in the President's America's Great Outdoors Initiative has done just that for us. We welcome this opportunity to address the needs for our land and our water conservation for Americans now and in the future. The Army Corps of Engineers is the nation's largest provider of outdoor recreation. We manage 12 million acres of lands and waters in the United States. We run more than 2,500 recreation areas at 422 projects and lease over 1,800 recreation sites to state or local park and recreation authorities or private interests. The Corps hosts over 370 million visitors a year. It's more than any other federal land management agency. And Will Shafroth, who you'll hear from later, his boss and I often debate the fact about who has the most visitors, and it's the Corps of Engineers. You might ask why this is the case. It's because over 90% of our facilities are within 50 miles of an urban area. That's the proximity that Americans have to the great American outdoors, and it's provided by the Corps of Engineers Recreation. With that proximity brings a lot of responsibility and a lot of partnerships. Our projects are important for a number of reasons, not only water-based recreation, but also for fish and wildlife habitats, for endangered species, and also cultural and historical resources, as well as open space. If this is any indication, on our website, the hit that gets the most, or the site that gets the most hits is our recreation site. People can click on that, they click on recreation, and they can get a fact sheet about any project anywhere in the country. And I think that's a testament to not only what the Corps provides, but also people's experiences at the sites when they go there. So recreation is one of our mission areas, and I think a lot of times people don't think of the Corps of Engineers as providing recreation, but as I said, we provide more visitor days than any other federal agency. This conference today and what we've been doing is all about partnerships. The Corps seeks partners with states and local governments, with Native American tribes, as well as public and private groups. Some support construction and maintenance of our recreation sites, while others help to operate and maintain them. We execute these partnerships through memorandums of understanding, and memorandums of agreement, real estate agreements, and cooperative agreements. And I'm happy to announce that we now have a new advisor for our partnerships at the Corps. Heather Burke, where'd you go, Heather? She's right here, sitting in the middle. Heather has worked at all levels of the Corps of Engineers. She's been a forester, park ranger, an outdoor recreation planner, a natural resource program manager, and she's an environmental resource specialist. She's going to be the senior advisor for partnerships, and she will help to advance the Corps' partnership program by working closely with the advisory committee and other teams. Heather, congratulations on your assignment, and thanks for your energy and your commitment to this initiative. Heather she's also, she lives in Portland and is in our Portland district office, but she's going to be our virtual employee around the country for the partnership initiative. So I think you're all going to get to meet her over the next day or two, and hopefully we'll all be working together. So congratulations and welcome. I'm disappointed that I won't be able to stay in Grapevine very long, but I've read your agenda and have seen all of the great things you're going to be able to do while you're here. As you might know, the City of Grapevine leases 6 park areas. Oak Grove Park and Meadow Owners Park are 2 of them. And in those 2 areas alone, we receive over 1.6 million recreation visitors a year, just for those 2 facilities. Together, the Corps and the city provide oversight and coordination for these parks. Great features of these leases require the revenue generated within these areas to be spent to support the Corps properties. Within the Fort Worth District, the Corps is part of the Challenge Partnership Agreement. Collin County and the Trinity Trail Preservation Association, they and the Corps have established and they coordinate and support development and operation of a multi-use trail around Lavon Lake. I'd like to thank the volunteers at the Trinity Trail Preservation Association because they're the ones who help to maintain these trails. Hikers, scouts, horse owners, they all enjoy the scenic trail to create a network of nature lovers. As you probably know, President Obama and the First Lady are committed to both protecting our natural resources and ensuring that Americans enjoy them. The First Lady's program, Let's Move, is aimed at giving children opportunities to be physically active. President Obama has challenged us, the federal government, to get Americans engaged in their natural habitat by launching the America's Great Outdoors Initiative in April of 2010. He later declared June of 2010 the Great Outdoors Month, encouraging families to explore our country's land and waters. Now we can all help in this effort. We can work with local communities on the ideas and programs that they have and look at the efforts outside of Washington. We're excited about working with federal, state, and local agencies to support the goals of America's Great Outdoors. One of these goals is to improve existing programs for our science, our data, and our monitoring related to our land and water conservation and to climate change. We within the Corps of Engineers have an Institute for Water Resources that's a world-class research institution, and we research water management and conservation. For example, one of the things that our IWR does is we've produced the Value of the Nation study. And what this does is demonstrate how the Corps impacts the daily life of Americans and the value to our country's economy, our environmental sustainability, as well as our global competitiveness. In addition, we have an Engineering Research and Development Center that does both basic and applied research on water quality and quantity, on invasive species, recreation modeling, and many other programs directly tied to the America's Great Outdoors Initiative. Both of these centers work closely with both our public and private research organizations. Part of what America's Great Outdoors will help identify is where access to current scientific information for local and regional decision-making can be improved for all of us. I know you're going to be hearing from Will Shafroth from the Department of Interior later today, so I'll leave an update on America's Great Outdoors initiatives to him. I'd just like to take this time to thank all of the partners who have been involved in this initiative. The goal of reconnecting Americans, especially our kids, to America's lands, rivers, lakes, and coasts will advance job and volunteer opportunities related to conservation and outdoor recreation. And it will also support existing education programs and projects that engage Americans in history, culture, and natural beauty. It's an opportunity to build support both at the local, state, private, and tribal efforts for conservation for our land, water, our wildlife, as well as our historic and cultural resources. Colonel Kula mentioned that I was a teacher in my former life. It was a long time ago. But one of the things that we used to do, or we instituted in my school district, was what's called Nature's Classroom. And we would take our kids for at least a week, sometimes two, depending on how the fundraising went, selling cookies and I think we sold wrapping paper back then to raise money to go. But we'd take the kids for 2 weeks out into the countryside. We'd stay in a dorm and we'd have a hike every day. Kids would decide where they would hike, where they would swim, and develop all kinds of educational games to play. It was the most fun I had as being a teacher, and it was part of some of these kids. I worked in Fitchburg, Massachusetts, as the Colonel said, and it wasn't a big city, but some of these kids never even got to go outside. They'd go to school. The only time they went outside was for recess, and outside was in a tarred parking lot. It was not seeing mountains or streams or rivers. So that was one of the most fun parts of my teaching experience, and it's something that I think is viewed as part of the education process throughout the America's Great Outdoors Initiative as well. As President Obama has said, as he said actually in his speech on the American Great Outdoors Conference back in April of last year, he said, "We will meet with everyone from tribal leaders to farmers, from young people to business people, from elected officials to recreation and conservation groups. And their ideas will help us form a 21st century strategy for America's great outdoors to better protect our natural landscape and our history for generations to come. We held public listening sessions across the country this past year, and it helped the Interagency Coalition prepare America's Great Outdoors report. This report charges the federal government and its partners to act. The report recognizes that reaching and connecting with America's youth is essential to succeed in this effort, so there will be actions that reach out to youth to get them involved in the outdoors. Partnerships will be key to implementing many of the recommendations in the report. Federal agencies will focus programs on the conservation and restoration of our federal lands and waters and consider management within a landscape and a watershed context. The American Great Outdoors Initiative process has brought together federal agencies in ways they've never been brought together before. There will be lasting benefits from the coordination and the collaboration of the America's Great Outdoors Initiative. All of the people involved, all the agencies involved, play an integral part in the implementation of the President's report. The Corps is on the America's Great Outdoors Council, which will oversee the implementation and the completion of the administration's short and long-term goals. In the coming months, the Corps will continue to hold listening sessions to engage the public. I'm encouraged by the coordination of the federal family, the local agencies, and the non-government organizations at the events such as this. I hope you all enjoy the outside at Grapevine Lake, especially the Silver Lake Marina and the boat tour at the Corps' Vantage Grapevine Lake. I hope that's the most fun. I'm not biased or anything, but it probably will be. Anyway, I look forward to working with all of you in the future on this initiative. And I also want to thank all of you because you're here because you care about this as well. You care about the outdoors, you care about future generations having the opportunity and having the resources there to enjoy like all of you do. And I thank you for that. I thank you for cherishing the treasures that we have and encourage you to be able to instill that passion in the other people whose lives you touch. So thanks very much.